instruction. I don't know if that's the best word for it, but basically what we're looking at is the Capital Prep mission, what we hope to produce after 14 years of having students. Is that right? 14, 12, 14, 15, 14, whatever. A lot, their whole lives, basically. So, you know, what is it that we expect to produce in students when we have them from age 3 to age 18? Okay? So the first thing we're going to have you look at is your mission statement, or the blueprint as we call it. So that's the document that has the Capital Prep logo at the top. And probably a lot of you are familiar, at least with the basic mission statement from preparing for your interview. A lot of you cited a lot of it. So you should know that one of the major components of our mission statement is to create agents of change. Okay? So our ultimate goal is that when a senior leaves Capital Prep, they're prepared to take on their own social justice action in the community, whether that community is the school or hopefully something larger like Hartford community, Connecticut community, and even the world. Okay? So you have the mission statement. You'll notice that after we have the brief statement there about what we hope to instill in students, we have 5 specific learner expectations. And those really provide the foundation for everything that we do here at Capital Prep and everything that we try to teach. And we'll talk a little bit more specifically about that in a minute. So if you look at them, collaboration, information processing, problem solver, knowledgeable person, empathetic citizen, they're basically what you've probably heard in your courses referred to as the 21st century skills. So we don't think that we necessarily reinvented the wheels, but we've developed this common language that all the students are familiar with, all the teachers are familiar with, and probably most of the parents are familiar with, that really drives what we envision for our students. So all of these things, as I kind of mentioned, are leading up to the social justice project that students complete in their senior year. So they take on basically a 1.5-year long capstone project where they're, Brandy's making a face because she's actually graduated from our program, so she's very familiar with the experience. It's a very intense experience. It's similar to a master's thesis. They address a social justice problem that they see in their community. They work on it for a 1.5 years. They have to present to panels. They have to do research. They have to collect data. They have to put together a whole action plan and evaluate the action plan. And they do a lot of presenting. And it's very, very impressive stuff. So that's the goal, is to get kids ready for that. And that has to be the goal from day 1, from age 3, from pre-K. They have to, we all have to be working towards that vision all the time, throughout our classes, throughout our experiences here at Capital Prep, and you'll see how that kind of pans out in detail a little bit more. So I'm not going to go too in-depth with this, because I'm going to throw it over to Monica, but the document that you have, the first page is the mission statement, what the learner expectations are, and then I just want to kind of familiarize you a little bit with what the rest of this is. So if you flip in here, and we'll talk more about this a little later, you have what are the essential questions for each grade, pre-K through 12, okay? So it's a cycle of 7 years. So basically, like, the question in pre-K mirrors the question in 6th grade. So there's 2 cycles of essentially the same questions that students are exploring for that whole year. It's just that the lower school ones are written in more developmentally appropriate language. Okay? So each year they have a focus where they're thinking about themselves in a certain context. So you notice that it starts out with who am I, doing some internal reflection and thinking, and then eventually it spans out to, what role do I serve in my community? How do I make change? And again, we'll get into that in a little bit more detail later. After that, you have the breakdown of each of the 5 learner expectations from grades pre-K through 12. Okay? So what is an information processor in pre-K, in K and 1, in 2 and 3, eventually leading all the way up to 12th grade? What are the actual skills that show us that a student is learning to be an information processor? Okay? So you have a universal definition for each learner expectation. You have some sub-strands, or I don't know, we don't really have a term for that, but we've kind of broken up the skills into certain categories, and then we have the grade level sort of expectations of what the learner expectations should look like, okay? So this is a document that you'll get really familiar with. Again, we'll go into more detail with it, but that's just sort of the structure of how it works. And this is a living document. This is actually the 5th version of this. So it started off very simplistic. Through the years, staff has worked to develop it. Obviously, with the addition of the lower school, we had to, drill it down all the way down to pre-K. So this is a living document. This is not a hard and fast thing. This is something that you, as a new staff member of Capital Prep, will play a role in developing and changing as time goes on. So that's just a kind of an overview of what we're going to get into today. Monica is going to give us a little bit more detail on what the learner expectations actually look like in class.